Hello and welcome back to Lindy's YouTube channel. My name is Aditi and I am back with mixed media inspiration for y'all. Today I am going to be creating this under the sea journal page, and I am playing with some stamps and the summer break magical set, which is the set of the month for the challenge. Now I begin by using this large all in create stamp, and I am going to stamp that with embossing ink and heat set that with Wowzer's white embossing powder. This has just created a nice ring on my circle journal page, and I can then begin adding colors. On my palette, I am mixing Dipito teal and the beach ball blue with water, creating my custom watercolors. And I begin with the blue on my paintbrush, misting the page with water and just dropping that in, picking in Dipito teal and then blending the two colors together, mostly keeping it a little darker at the edges or the border of the page and then making it a little lighter towards the center. So misting with water and blending everything together, I have my first set of color down in place, and once that's dry I am going in with this stencil and applying 3D matte gel because I want a little translucent texture. So once I have that down in place, I let that to sort of set and dry, and I'm going to go back in with the same two colors and just create more depth. So I am adding more color now, especially around that stenciled hexagon pattern, just to lay more emphasis and to highlight that texture and bring about a little shading to set the tone for my sea or water for this page. So just dabbing randomly here and there. Once I'm happy, I am going in with another abstract stencil and using black archival ink to stencil through that to add a little more texture and contrast to the page. So once I have that down in place, everything looks good. I am then going to mix Nuneka's popsicle purple or periwinkle purple, however that is called, and I am adding that to the edges of my paper to darken them and to bring in that third color to create a little more shading to my page. So just intensifying that and blending all of that in together. I'm playing with the Sizzix critters from the Under the Sea collection. So I have seashells here that I have die cut, and I am going to bring in the other colors. So I'm using teeny weeny bikini and adding that to the edge, using umbrella drink pink and adding that, and then bringing in the purple and adding that. So I misted all of these with water and then just dabbed in the color on the edges and let all of that blend together. Now on separate pieces of watercolor paper, I am creating custom paper to later die cut the seaweeds and stamp and die cut the lobsters. So on one piece I am going in with the yellow and the Dipito teal to create a little yellowish greenish paper for the seaweeds. I do add a little bit of the blue to darken the green at places, just to create a little shading and variety, so that when I use this to die cut the seaweeds, I will have different colors all over. For the lobsters, I am mixing in the pink and the yellow and just creating a custom paper for that. I then stamp the lobster on this once it's dry and then die cut and have all my elements ready. Now it's all about just creating the composition, and to start with I actually first place the lobsters down in the center of the page and then work around that. So I am laying clusters of seashell using liquid adhesive at places and foam tape at places just to create a little more depth and dimension, and building the scene, placing seaweeds and just further creating the scene of as if the lobsters are amongst the shells and the seaweeds, just for a nice under the sea kind of a scenic journal page. So I slowly build upon this. You will see I place elements. Once I'm happy, I glue them down. I then move them around if I'm not happy yet, but just making sure that everything looks good. I do this step by step, and once I know that I have the elements that I need to glue with liquid glue down in place, it is only then that I adhere the lobsters with foam tape over them. So, this is all about a little trial and error and seeing how you enjoy this composition. For me, it was more about creating this cluster of seashells and working around it. First, by placing the lobsters where I knew I wanted them. And the seaweeds then act as a connecting point, just making sure that there is movement and the entire page is flowing. So, continuing to do that, just further building my composition, I am adhering elements as I go along. I am going to now just finish placing my seashells, and I am actually leaving the overhangs for this page. I am not trimming anything excess because I think this just adds more beauty to this particular page. And I love that dimension and this feeling of things expanding and extending beyond my page. That's just something that works for me, and so I let that be. So, during my lobster finally and tucking in the final pieces of the seaweed, I am just further connecting everything together, making sure that everything is a whole, creating that beautiful scene that I wanted. So once I have that, I am then going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. So I'm using the same sentiment from this set, stamping that on watercolor paper with black ink. And once I know where I want to place it, I just die cut it using the coordinated die and use the same blue and teal from the set to color this paper in right where I want to tuck it using liquid adhesive. I just tuck it underneath the seaweed so that it's part of my page yet visible and adds meaning to my page. And once that looks good, I am just going to complete this with some black and white acrylic ink splatters. So that just ties everything in together, creates that whole unit and this scene that I wanted. So with that, my journal page is complete, and here is a closer look at all the beautiful shimmer, color, details, and I hope this has inspired you to play along with the summer break set and create something so that you can participate in the challenge. Here's another journal page using Lindy's magical shakers and Sizzix, and this is going to be an upcoming class, but I just love how these two look good in my book, and I wanted to just show you that. So, hopefully, this has inspired you, and until the next time, take care and bye bye.